Hello, and welcome to Math 0361, Practice Test 4. Well, this is the last regular test before the exam, so if everything's been going well so far for you, congratulations. If not, well, hopefully this will give you a little bit of momentum before going into the final. The first question says, if qx equals to 3x squared minus 9, find q of 1/4. All this means is replace x with 1/4. And let's solve. First I'll square the 1 and the 4. 1 squared is 1, and 4 squared is 16. Next, this 3 will multiply to this 1, so it'll become 3 over 16 minus 9. Now this 9 can be rewritten as a fraction as 9 over 1. I would like to subtract, but I can't just yet because they don't have the same denominator. So let me multiply 9 over 1 by 16 over 16. 9 times 16 is 144. And 1 times 16 is 16. Now we have the same denominator, so we're permitted to subtract. And 3 minus 144 is negative 141 over 16. Okay, number 2. We would like to combine our like terms, but notice there's a negative sign in between the parentheses right here. This is really a negative 1, and what it will do is it will multiply to everything inside the second set of parentheses. So negative 1 times negative 7y squared is plus 7y squared. Negative 1 times negative 7y is positive 7y. And negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. Okay, well, let me rewrite this. And the way I'm going to rewrite it is I'm going to put like terms underneath each other. So that way when we add and subtract, everything's lined up ready to go. 7y squared is just 7y squared. 7y plus 6y is 13y. And negative 3 plus 3 is 0. And that is our answer. We're going to take the same approach with number 3. Notice before the last set of parentheses there's another minus sign, which is really minus 1. And I will distribute. So it becomes negative 7x squared and positive 15. Now let me rewrite. So I have 5x squared plus 5x minus 4, then 2x squared plus 9x plus 17, then negative 7x squared plus 15. Notice all the like terms are lined up, so let's add and subtract. 5 plus 2 is 7, but 7 minus 7 is 0, so everything here goes away. 5 plus 9 is 14, so 14x. Negative 4 plus 17 is 13, but 13 plus 15 is 28. So 14x plus 28. Number 4 says find the perimeter. Perimeter just means add up all sides. So we have negative 7x squared plus 9x. We have 3x minus 3. And we also have 3x squared plus 8. Well, negative 7 plus 3 is going to be negative 4x squared. 9 plus 3, that's going to be 12x. And negative 3 plus 8 is positive 5. That's our answer. Next, we have number 5. The trick to this is first multiply just the numbers. So we're going to do 4 times negative 4 times 5. And that's going to give us, let's see, 4 times negative 4 is negative 16, times 5 is negative 80. As with the letters x9, x9, and x5, we're just going to add. 9 plus 9 is 18, plus 5 is 23. So in the end, our answer is negative 80, x 23. Okay, number 6 is something that we're going to do a lot, called FOIL, which is just multiplying. First, outside, inside last. Well, first will be 4x times 2x. 4x times 2x is 8x squared. Then outside is 4x times negative 6, which is negative 24x. Then inside is negative 6 times 2x, which becomes negative 12x. Then finally, last, negative 6 times negative 6 is positive 36. Alright, from here we can combine the middle terms. Negative 24 minus 12 is negative 36x. So altogether we have 8x squared minus 36x plus 36. Number 7. We have 4x squared plus 1 squared. All this squared means is rewrite it with itself. And now let's do FOIL. So we'll do 4x squared times 4x squared. And that would give us 16x4. Then 4x squared times 1, which is just 4x squared. Then 1 times 4x squared, which is 4x squared. Then finally, 1 times 1 is 1. And again, the middle terms can combine to give you 8x squared. So altogether, we have 16x4 plus 8x2 plus 1. Number 8. What we're going to do is we're going to first multiply this x with everything inside. So x times x squared is x3. X times negative 3x is minus 3x2. And x times 7, 7x. Now we'll do the same thing with negative 4. Negative 4 times x squared is negative 4x squared. Negative 4 times negative 3x is positive 12x. And negative 4 times 7 is negative 28. So altogether we're going to have x cubed. Negative 3 minus 4 is negative 7x squared. 7 plus 12 is 19x. And then minus 28. Alright, number 9. First we'll do 3y times y, which is 3y squared. Then we'll do 3y times 4, which is 12y. Then negative 9y, negative 9 times y, which is negative 9y. And negative 9 times 4 is negative 36. And the middle two can combine. 12 minus 9 is 3y. So we have 3y squared plus 3y minus 36. 3x plus 8 squared. Again, the square just means multiply with itself. But other than that, method is the same. So 3x times 3x is 9x squared. 3x times 8 is 24x. 8 times 3x is 24x. And 8 times 8 is 64. From here, we can combine the middle terms, 24x and 24x, which will give you 48x. Then everything else comes down. Number 11. We'll do 9x times 9x, which is 81x squared. 9x times 4, which is 36x. Negative 4 times 9x, which is negative 36x. And negative 4 times 4 is negative 16. The middle terms can combine, but notice that they're going to completely cross off. So all that's left is 81x squared minus 16. And finally, and next we have 8x minus 4y squared. Again, that just means multiply with itself. And we'll do 8x times 8x, which is 64x squared. 8x times negative 4y is negative 32xy. Negative 4y times 8x is negative 32xy again. And negative 4y times negative 4y is positive 16y squared. The middle terms can combine to become negative 64xy. And everything else comes down. Alright, very good. Number 13, we would like to divide. In a problem like this, we can divide by splitting the fraction. By doing 12p5 over 3p plus 18p3 over 3p. The first fraction, 12 over 3, may reduce to 4. And p5 divided by p1 is just p4. Then the second fraction, 18 divided by 3 is 6. And p3 divided by p1 becomes p2. That's your answer. Let's take that same approach to number 14. So we get 9x4 over negative 9x4 minus 6x3 over negative 9x4 plus 7x over negative 9x4. With the first fraction, not only does 9 cross off, but x4 also cross off. So we're just going to leave that as negative 1. With the second fraction, two negatives make a positive. 6 and 9 can reduce to 2 and 3. So we have 2 over 3. And x3 and x4 cross off to leave x in the bottom. So 2 over 3x. With the second fraction, the third fraction, a plus and a minus is really negative. 7 and 9 will not cross off. And then x and x4 does cross off to become x3 on the bottom. And as bad as this looks, that's actually the answer. Alright, 15, we're going to have to divide using long division. So, bear with me. I have x plus 1 going into x squared plus 4x plus 3. Like x can go into x squared x times. X times x is x squared. X times 1 is 1x. Now with long division, this is usually a step you would subtract. So let me change the signs. That's what subtracting is. because x squared and minus x squared go away, and 4 minus 1 is 3x. Then I'll bring down the next number. Then we'll see how many times does 1 go into 3. 3 times. 3 times 1x is 3x. 3 times 1 is 3. And again, I'll change the signs. And it looks like we get a 0 remainder. So in the end, our answer is just what we have up top, which is x plus 3. Alright, let's try that with number 16. Like 3 goes into 6 2 times, and x goes into x squared x times. So we'll do 2x times 3x, which is 6x squared, and 2x times 4, which is 8x. Again, I'll change the sign. So 6 minus 6 is 0, and 17 minus 8 is 9x. Now I'll bring down the next number, 7. Now 3 goes into 9 3 times. 3 times 3, that's going to be 9x. 3 times 4 is 12. Again, I'll change the signs to negatives. And what we get is 7 minus 12, which is negative 5 for our remainder. So our answer becomes 2x plus 3 minus 5 over 3x plus 4. Alright, number 17, we would like to find the greatest common factor of 9, 18, and 30. Well, two numbers that make 9 are 3 and 3. And that's it. Two numbers that make 18 are 2 and 9, but 9 can break down into 3 and 3. And as for 30, two numbers that break down are 2 and 15, but 15 breaks down to 3 and 5. Now the question is, what number is in common? And notice that every single factorization has 3. So your answer is 3. With 18, when you have exponents, finding the greatest common factor is easier. Just look for the smallest powers. When you look at all the x's, the smallest power is right here, x1. So that's part of our answer. And now when you look at all the y's, the smallest power is right here, y5. x1, y5 is the answer. Okay, factor out the greatest common factor. So notice something about 18, 12, and 4. They're all even numbers. So you can divide each of those numbers by 2. But not only that, they also have letters. M7, M5, and M3. The smallest power is M3. So let me put 2m3 to the side, and then we'll divide. 18 divided by 2 is 9, and 7 minus 3, that's going to become m4. 12 divided by 2 is 6, and 5 minus 3 is 2, m2. And then 4 divided by 2 is 2, and m3 is crossed off. And that's our answer. Finally, we like to factor by grouping. Grouping just means 2 at a time. So, in the first two sets, we can divide both of these numbers by 5 and by x. And when we do, we're left with y plus 4. As for the second group, we can divide out by 9. And again, we are left with y plus 4. Notice that what's inside parentheses is exactly the same. So let me write that down one time, y plus 4. And right next to it, I'm going to write out the non-parentheses, which would be 5x plus 9. 5x plus 9. And we're finished. So this concludes the Test 4 review. Hopefully this was a helpful review, and this will give you some momentum going into before you have to take the final. Thanks for listening, and if you have any other questions, stop by the Math Resource Center in room ESEE 1112, and we'll answer your questions. Thank you, and have a great day.